Hello. How are you doing tonight? You're listening to Pokemon Chill Vibes. I am your DJ, your radio host, and very tired and very full PPL commissioner. Can you just let me know how the volume is? Is the volume okay? I am, in fact, a bucket aficionado. People call me a connoisseur. And I wouldn't say I'm attractive. I would very much. Volume is Gucci. I don't know, because I'm not a wealthy person. Is Gucci good? Is Gucci considered at least somewhat decent in today's society? So I can't even say that fucking word. Good evening. How are you all doing on this fine... I wouldn't say Friday, it's not Friday, it's Saturday. I hope we're all having a good time. Anyway, as you can see, spontaneously this league has just appeared out of nowhere. Spanish did in fact break me. You know my weakness. It's why we have no, damn it, Frank's in the league. Fuck Frank. I was about to say we have no Spanish people because I can't deal with the Spanish, but never mind, we got Frank. I mean, does Frank count, honestly? Yeah, spoilers, we have Frank. For the first time in a long time. Does anyone actually know how long it's still this? So true. Frank Day has come and gone though. I should have done this on Frank Day. Fuck. That would have been like the ideal time for this. But yeah, I'm on a whole ass tangent. Yeah, so this is the PPL Bolton Flare. There was meant to be a announcement. However, I recorded it. It never got edited. It never made its way to the channel. So, surprise. There is 2 more divisions for the PPL. If I still have my script for the video that I did earlier, as the music is fucking popping off, and then I would be able to go through it, but instead, you're just going to have to deal with not knowing exactly what this is meant to be. But yeah, we have 28 new coaches in the PPL family. I say new, some of them are returning. Mr. Shroomraver in the chat, as well as Mr. Onesie Baynat. 2 of the PPL originals have come back. And they are... I think... Was Frank a PPL original as well? I think he may have been. But we have plenty of people who were previously in PPL. Tone, I believe, at one point. That might actually be it. So, yeah, plenty. Tone is... Tone is there. Outside of that, Frank was in season 3. Dave is the PPL. What's the word I'm looking for? I've been up for too long to know exactly the word I'm looking for. Season 2. Come on now, get your facts right. Who's gonna actually know what season that Frank was in? This is of utmost importance. So either Frank was in season 2 or season 3, but regardless, he was in a previous season. Yes, Frank is here, Tone is here, Shroom is here, Alex is here. Outside of that, we have got in our Flare old and confused. I'm long since past the point of old and confused. Yeah, our Flare division is Cahoots, coach of the Hawaiian Kamoos. We have Tone, the Miami Palafins. Let me just move this here so I'm not talking away from the mic. We have Dell, aka D-Double and the Edmonton Coilers, Cherryman Cake and the Clarksville Celesteelers, Trexo with the Glaciado. I never actually worked out how to pronounce that. Glaciado Glamora, I think it is. We have Rose Raygod, or Rose, Las Vegas Rotums. We have Daria with the Minneapolis Meowskaradas. Helios with the San Jose Sharpedos. I've still got so many teams to go through. This is not going well. We have Indomitable Will, San Antonio Spurs, KJ, 2292. Very important you have those numbers. And the Cleveland Indides, we have Goldoa Dragon with the New York Empoleons, CB Marcus, the GOAT, the Automator himself, with the Rose City Roselias. Why did you have to make it so difficult for me to say? We have Razorclaw with the Galaxy Brain Glycopods, and then we have Ace Trainer Rick with the Opal-Lucid Roaring Moons, which honestly is just that's not canon. I did not see a single Roaring Moon when I was in Opal-Lucid. So yeah. Ellie's Turtwig has just learned Bullet Seed. Can we get a round of applause for Ellie? Maybe a slow clap. Before we go into our Bolt coaches, make sure to go and check out all of the Flare coaches. Hopefully there'll be links. Do we have a paste bin? Probably not, because the paste bin was meant to... Why is it still saying bucket on the fucking stream? Okay, I have changed the title. Please somebody confirm that it's no longer just called bucket. We do have a paste bin at this current time. That is tough. We are organised here. We are professionals. But let's go ahead and go into the Bolt Division coaches. 7 years ago, honestly, 7 years ago, I don't think, I could be wrong about this, I don't think that this league was actually thought about at that time. In fact, I don't think that I was even playing Draft League at the time. So I could have told you 7 years ago to make a paste bin. However, I don't think the paste bin would have been very relevant. Anyway, Bolt coaches, let's get back on track, because you're here for a draft stream, and I don't know how, 20 minutes or so in, we've got nowhere. We've got Bruno 7, Chernobyl Dragauges, Frank Trode, as mentioned earlier, with the FC Volcarona. We have Jakey XY with the Berkshire Bronzors, Luxant with Groningen Gallades. We have Gerbilbo with the Old Ice... Christ, why are people making their name so difficult? Old English Ice Cube. We have Frosted with the Copenhagen Sawsbucks, Stroomraver with the Parasect German, Dr. Slacking with the Cotswold Whimsicots, Squid Defeed with Lisbon Arcanines, Just Lucas and the Paradise Protocol, Onesie Baynet with the Solihull Scarmores, J. Ricky with Gigaton Hammers, Clurboom with the NJ Gold Dengos, and finally Padel with the Glasgow Gliscorers. That was a lot of teams. When we have a paste bin, which we'll hopefully have. I mean, I was not prepared to pronounce that. Honestly, if you had gone with that team name, I would have just kicked you. So take that how you will. It might have been a good thing, honestly. But that's all our coaches. When we have a paste bin, make sure to go check them out, because I don't expect you to go typing in 28 different team names or coach names and going to sub to them all. But yeah, we're going to go through all the Bolt coaches first, because they are for the most part European and will be already probably in bed. So yeah, it's currently nearly 1:30 for me in the UK, but I don't know what Ellie's trying to say there. I'm trying to work it out. I don't know why I'm still awake as well, Alex. Honestly, it's beyond me. But let me go ahead and get my recording software back up, so then I can actually start going through some of the teams. So the rules for this was very similar to PPL main, in that we had low tier terrors. I don't know if we actually had like too many top tiers unbanned from when we did PPL last season, but you'll see when you go through. Of course, this is post DLC. So yeah, team 1. First pick of the draft for the Bolt division was Bruno 7 and the Chernobyl Dragauges. He picked up Bax Caliber with the first pick, and it's kind of interesting. I think Bax Caliber was something that wasn't expected to be the first pick on the draft. Let me go up to the tier list. It wasn't even in the top tier. It was 17 points. But he went straight for it, picked up the load of Ninetales to go with it, which is, as seen in OU, as a broken core. But this team has actually got quite a lot to it. It's a very bulky backbone of Vaporeon, Donphan, Wo-Chien, Yorthworm as well. Iron Hands is a fucking monster. It's a tank. It takes every single hit. There is nothing that it can't eat. Speaking of nothing that it can't eat, we all see the Munchlax. We got to appreciate the Terra Munchlax pick. And there's also a Killer Wattrel. I forgot the Iron Moth. Iron Moth is a massive threat. But I haven't actually seen... I haven't seen these teams at all prior to this. So you're kind of learning these teams as I do. Big, and I cannot emphasize this enough, Munch. You are so right, Dave. Like, honestly, you've never been more right in your life. Yeah, this is a really, really fun-looking team. Quite bulky, but it's got those offensive pieces. Good removal in Donphan, and honestly, in this generation, having one removal option that is actually pretty good is going to be sufficient. There's nothing else on this team necessarily that's going to help with that cause, but plenty of hazards. Bax is going to be really fun to use with the access to Scale Shot now. And yeah, a Raw Veil on any team immediately becomes a problem. So that's going to be Bruno's team. Let me know what you think of it in the chat. And we'll move on to Frank's pick. And he picked up Mr. Man in homage to his good friend, his assistant coach in the GBA, El Sizzle, aka Lars, who was in the first season of PPL. 8.6 out of 10, respectable. That is a pretty good score from Q. Q is the official rater for this season, just so we're all on level there. For some reason, Gardevoir is just kind of vibing outside the hexagon. So CB has done a terrible job. He should be fired immediately, but not really, because he actually makes this so much less stressful for me to have to deal with. But this is a very fun looking team. I'm going to say it's probably a lot. But it's... I was looking for an Ice Setter, and then the Ice Setter, a Snow Setter, and then yeah, the Slowking is right there. Slowking with the Alolan Sandslash is going to be really, really fun. I want to see Alolan Sandslash popping off. There's a Sudowoodo on this. There is, in fact, I mean, Alex has seen it. There is, in fact, a Sudowoodo. This team is just very well balanced. Very good defensive core in Slowking and Heatran. Very good, like, mid tiers as well with Gardevoir and Wyvern. And Decidueye as well. Not to mention, we have got the mascot pick. I say mascot for Frank, not for his team. In Electrode, he has picked that up in like round 6 or round 7. He was scared of the snipe, but Crawdon could very well be a very understated menace on his team. I know Ellie said she's looking forward to that. Yeah, Crawdon, I'm very interested to see how it performs this gen. But Overquill, I don't necessarily see the synergy, but it does give good hazards on his team. 6 out of 10, but Frank is a 32 out of 10. 6.9, nice. Moving on. We're going to get through these teams as quick as we can. To Jakey XYs, he's not necessarily a particularly well-known name in Draft League scene. However, he does make fantastic content, and he has a really cool team. I very much like this team. It's very balanced, and kind of ticks quite a few boxes. The hazard removal being Court Change, Cinderace could be better, because you don't really want to be running that every week. Vespiquen is just kind of there. There's a Cresselia to get in the bin. You know what? I respect that opinion. But there is still like the Garchomp, there's the like Libero Protean double header of Cinderace and Meowscarada. The Gengar gives it a nice special attacker, as well as like another T-Spiker, because Vespiquen is obviously the premier one on this team. Cresselia. You know what? I'm taking that. The Terramons both being grass type is a little bit of an interesting one, but it is Terra Dragon on the Appleton, so 4 grass types. I mean, it's kind of like having 4 grass types, but having no grass types at all. Also, where's the 4th grass type? Are you talking about... Oh, no, there's an Amoonguss. Literally an Amoonguss right there. But, like, only potentially one of these could end up being a grass type in a battle. Like, Terra Apple only still. Honestly, that's kind of all you need. Addison made Go-Go look pretty decent last season, and I think that despite there being 4 grass types, the main 2 of Meowscarada and Amoonguss do very different jobs, very different weaknesses, and I think it's fine. I like this team though. It does look like fun. Got some really fun pivots, and Scale Shot Garchomp is back, and boy is it strong. Next up, Luxance with the Phanpy. Moving on. No, this is a Luxance team. If anyone has ever watched anything from Lux or knows Lux, this is literally just like a copy and paste from every other team that he has. Tornadus, Rotom Wash, Mienshao. Honestly, all of those and Lux name a more iconic duo. You honestly can't. He's got a very good bulky core in Rotom Wash, the Ting-Lu, Uxie, Snorlax. Just, it ticks a lot of boxes with that. The only thing it doesn't really tick is the fact that his hazard removal is Phanpy. And I believe it is just Phanpy. That could be... Usually have a Slowking, not a Rotom. Okay, I mean, like... If you don't have a Slowking, you have a Rotom, so, you know, same thing. This team is ass water. Dave is just not holding back at all. He is just going in on Lux's team, and it's very valid. It's a very annoying team to face. I would not like to face this team. Also, Ogerpon Cornerstone, that's a goat pick right there. Not literally, it's not a goat, but it's a mon that is very, very much, like, it piqued my interest, I will say. And I kind of want to use it, so I'm excited to see how Lux uses it. Outside of that, the Terra Klefki is probably the best Terra, or one of the best Terras that were on the board. And then Phanpy is there. So, top 6 looks nice. Looks like it requires far too much thinking. I see you, Q. I don't know, you're an Ogerpon enjoyer. So I think you'd be able to deal with that one just fine. But Phanpy does not get spin. That is incredibly tough. That is just... Pour one out for the homie Phanpy. Now viability has just gone down the drain, down the tank. Yeah, why does it not get rapid spin? Honestly, who knows? I'm going to move on so I don't have to deal with Phanpy for much longer. And we have a round 4 Ambipom from Gert Bilbo. I'm just going to give you a bit of time to let it settle in that he picked up Ambipom on round 4. Okay, so the rest of the team looks really, really good. Roaring Moon is perhaps not so great without Terra, but still a very, very strong mon, gained access to knockoff. Glowking, one of the best defensive pivots in the game. You have Enamorus, which is always shit. I'm not a big Enamorus fan after last season of PPL, but it's a good mon. It's just, I think, a little bit overrated. Mamoswine, excellent mon, got buffed this gen as well. Talonflame is fun. Very good defogger. I think that's the only removal option, but at the same time, Talonflame is a very good removal option. Magnezone, good mon. Terra Arboliver could be really interesting. Alomola, Hooper, and Heracross. The last 2, Hooper and Heracross, you don't really see get picked up too often this gen. So it's kind of a team that has some very much Gen 9 staples on the top end, and then some very unusual picks, we'll say, towards the end. And Ambipom, like, he was cooking. He was really cooking, and I respect it, but it is an Ambipom, and it doesn't get much more than just double hit. But you know what? I'm ready to be proven wrong. And I'm sure that Bill will do that some point during this season. And yeah, I'm going to move on before I shit talk and bomb too much. Next up we had Frosted, and my god, does this team scare me. Grey Tusk Iron Bundle with the backup of a defensive core of Galarian Weezing, Corviknight, Goodra, Gastrodon. This is a very much a very strong balanced team with a disgusting offensive core and budget Flutter Mane. So true. So true. The Terra Lycanroc goes crazy. The manual Sandstorm that will be set up at some point for the Sand Force Gastrodon will also come in handy for the Terra Lycanroc, I'm sure. You know what? If there was a Tyranitar on this team, it would be a 10 out of 10. But the fact there's no Tyranitar kind of brings it down a little bit. But I guess Sarude is still a decent Dark type. It's no Tyranitar, but it's still decent. That is in fact a Necros Devo that you see Shroom Raver. Bundle is a very hit and miss mon, literally. If you hit your Hydro Pumps, it's fucking good. If you miss, then you absolutely despise this mon. Am I right, Q? Outside of this, defensive core goes crazy. Great removal options. In fact, probably the best removal options you can potentially get. Rapid Spin, Grey Tusk, Defog Corviknight, Defog Galarian Weezing. What more could you possibly need? You're welcome, Q. Outside of this, there's not that many hazard setters outside of the Grey Tusk Stealth Rocks, the Toxic Spikes on Galarian Weezing, and 2 hazards on Gastrodon. I guess like a Sashly Lycanroc can also come, but I think that'd be a waste of your Terra Captain. But this team, honestly, I could see this team doing really, really well. This is a team that I would like to draft myself, in fact. It's got a very, very cool defensive core and Iron Bundle. Dave, what is this team? Is this Joey's team? Did you just copy-paste? Answer truthfully. I mean, there is a Sandslash, so this is definitely a Shroom Raver team. There's a Sandslash with Terra. I don't know why there's a Terra Grass on it, but you know, I'm sure Dave will cover that in his draft analysis. This team is I do not want to set up hazards passively .jpg, and it's got the best hazard removal stopper outside of maybe Goldengo. In fact, I would maybe say that Annihilate is even better. You don't want to give it Defiant Boost. You can't Rapid Spin. The only thing you can do is Mortal Spin, and that would suck. But it's effectively just hazards with a Jirachi that's going to potentially flinch you all day, every day, and then a good defensive core. Let's say good defensive core. It's like a Sylveon Shaman Cyclizar core. Cyclizar, by the way, is a very respectable rapid spinner. Very underrated. Cleaver, I guess, can be a defogger, but why would you ever want to click defog on this team? Also, just for the record, Winston, who is directly beside me, has just farted and is fucking atrocious. I am literally being gas bombed right now. You're welcome for the update. I'm sure you're all eagerly awaiting it. I will say, Terra Pyroar goes pretty crazy. It is a very good Terra Captain. Toxtricity could work really nicely on this team. And yeah, I like this team as much as it is. Like, the first 2 picks are Joey's draft. I think he got sniped of whatever was going to be in his 3rd pick, and therefore had to deviate from the plan. But Jirachi, Sylveon, that's a nice little call there. And I think this is a team that Dave can pilot very well. Albeit he has been out of the game for so long, and he is an old man, so he may not pilot very well at all. Moving on, we have got Dr. Spooper himself picking up the Spooper and making it a Terra Captain. Dr. Slacking has the Slacking as well. I believe the Slacking was a Terra Captain. You know what? Spooper is not a Terra Captain. Those Terra types should be on Slacking. I was just looking at it, it's like, I'm pretty sure the Spooper is not a normal type. But you gotta respect the Spooper pickup, the mascot Slacking pickup with the Terra. He's vibing very low in the Hexagon. He is in ultimate chill mode. And then yeah, the rest of the team we can probably just ignore. It's a decent team, right? It's it's got a Terra Hisuian Electrode, which is terrifying, pun intended. Quaquaval, honestly, is genuinely one of the best Pokemon in draft. I will fight anyone that says otherwise. Dragonite, very, very solid. Matt is a Dragonite enjoyer. He's very good at using it. Chi-Yu clicks buttons. The Iron Treads and Clefable are just very kind of like Matt standard mons. He likes his good removal, his good hazard setters. He likes to click Protect a lot. So this kind of just suits his team like where he likes to play perfectly. In fact, he's got an Espathra that loves to click Protect. The only thing it's missing is some kind of residual chip through weather. So again, a Tyranitar would have gone crazy here. And I'm surprised that Matt didn't pick it up. I guess that we got a Chi-Yu, so, you know, maybe he's already got a sufficient Dark type, but he could have picked up a second one. He has two Steel types, he could pick up 2 Darks. But honestly, if Spooper doesn't come to every game this season, is it even worth watching Matt's videos? Absolutely, he is hilarious. One of my favourite people to watch. With the 9th pick, we have Squid. And Squid picked up a Bombasno, so he is a man of culture. This team is looking like a really strong Gen 6 team. And then he kind of deviates a bit from that for, you know, with the Tinkerton and the Hisuian Zorok. Pretends that that's like a Mawile and a regular Zorok. We're cooking a good Gen 6 team here. This is actually a really fun looking team. Terra Obama is hype. Terra Bellybolt is also hype. Bellybolt is so slept on. I mean, I would sleep on him. He looks very, very comfy. He's like a big pillow. I don't know if you get shocked by the little thing on his belly, but you know what? I think it's worth the risk. I think it is worth the risk. Out of the rest of his team, though, there's not much of a comfortable pillow to be had. Vomosno obviously will be fine for that. Ditto looks quite squidgy. I reckon you could probably get a nice pillow from that one, but I can't imagine sleeping on a hammer is going to be particularly comfy. So this team is kind of cracked. I do enjoy this team. Good, kind of like balanced, sort of top 2. Manaphy and Lando do a lot of jobs in this gen, and they can be bulky, can be offensive. Weavile finally gained knockoff back. Still hasn't got triple axle, so he's not all the way back. He is only semi back. When he is so back, then Chi and Pao has to not really care. Chi and Pao still better. The rest of the team is kind of just here. The Hawlucha, usually you see it with a terrain setter, and I'm outside of Armrouge clicking Psychic Terrain, I'm not seeing much of a terrain setter on this team. But that doesn't mean that Hawlucha can only play that role. I guess it could be close combat with White Herb. You can be Limber or Mold Breaker in some matches. Wheezing, pillow-like, sleeping in a car. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't sound like... I know what, actually, when I was at work like a couple hours ago, that did sound like a really good idea. Like, honestly, that would have been a better time than me being at work. So, Bulky Lucha can work. I have used it to check a Urshifu single strike in the past. It can work. It can do the thing. Is it the only defogger or only removal on this team? I think it is. So, yeah, that could be a little bit interesting. Moving on, we got Lucas. And Lucas did not pick up, I was about to say, a very stally team, which would be typical Lucas. However, I looked kind of across the middle and I saw Umbreon, Hisuian Gudra, and Dusclops. There's a Diancie as well. Like, I take back my statement. However, this is a pretty offensive draft with Sun. Honestly, Terra Victory Bell, I am so ready to see that mon pop off in the Sun. He has got Sliverwing, which I'm pretty sure I faced him with before. I could be wrong. But he is a very good Sliverwing user. Walking Wake is terrifying in the Sun, and he's got the Ursaluna Blood Moon, which I think I was surprised that actually lasted this long into the draft, because like I would have thought that is a thumbnail mon that somebody would want to use, but apparently not the case. Apparently he decided, you know, it's going to fall away to tempt. But I think Blood Moon Ursaluna, with the Sun core and things like Thunderous, even Hisuian Braviary, this team looks like it's going to be very difficult to take on. He can run two very different modes of hyper offense. He could also be like bulky Sun. If that is, I'm pretty sure that's a thing, right? Confirm, please, that this is the bulky Sun is a thing, like Sunstall. I don't know, but I'm sure that Lucas will make it as bulky as possible. Fundy does get Weather Ball back, so that is going to be hitting grass types. I don't know. I'm sure Weather Ball will hit something at some point during the season. I guess steel types, maybe ice types. There's something. You know what? Rose is cooking, and I'm going to let him cook. I'm going to move on. Stills, it does struggle a bit. I mean, having to rely on hitting Focus Blast does get Sludge Wave for the grass types, but I can see where you're coming from. Alex, I've just faced you with a Rillaboom and a Umberdamon. I'm glad I'm not having to face it again. Also, this team is kind of nuts. Like, the low tier Terrors, you were definitely cooking. Definitely cooking. But yeah, Bird Gang goes hard. King Gambit goes even harder. Literally, he's made of steel. Regieleki, I think, is very underrated. It's going to be a very good hazard removal / screen setter this gen. Gets access to Terra Blast, so it actually has a somewhat okay mid-ground sort of move to hit with. Volcanion, Greatmon, and then just the top three. It's so scary. Ogerpon with the grassy terrain. Dave has said 5 birds. I will let you work out which 5 those are. The answer may surprise you. But Sneasler goes crazy. Sneasler is a bird. I don't know. Does it have a beak? I think like that's one of the prerequisites, isn't it? No, Dave says you're right. Okay, never mind. I take it back. This draft is very sick. I agree with you. Is that Kioma? Kioma? I butchered your name in 3 different ways there. So, but Mandibuzz, Pheasantipity, really strong defensive core. King Gambit goes crazy, and then you got like Terra Noctowl. Honestly, I can see Alex cooking with that. I really can. Masquerain is pretty decent. It definitely gives a good sticky web user. And then Gabite and Gothorita, I mean, they were low tier picks, and I think Gabite may be able to come to a game and possibly Terra and do something. Alex will prove me wrong though. Honestly, Alex is one of the most creative builders, and he's going to make this team work. Okay, so Jay Ricky has a terrible team. I think we can probably all agree with that. We're just going to move on, right? He did change his Terra type on Clorf at the last second. And it's a good job that he did, because he had Terra Grass on this mon. But yeah, this team actually does look pretty fun. There's going to be my Kryptonite Pokemon in Enamorous Therian. Fuck that mon. However, there is a goated spider on this team. Spidops goes crazy. They gave it knockoff now. It honestly might push it past broken, but we'll see. We'll see how that works. Hisuian Typhlosion is a really strong Terra Captain, and honestly, the amount of versatility he has between Mew, Ursaluna, and Polion, it's kind of nuts. Very good bulky offense potential. Greninja, Munkidori, Haxorus, really strong offense, and honestly, this team just allows Greninja to do whatever it wants. It can be a physical attacker, it can be a special attacker, it can be a lead mon to set up for like set up Mew or Munkidori. He has arguably one of the best Pokemon that came back in Pokemon Home in Ursaluna, and Mew is just always good. It's just always good. Clorf is there. Hisuian Decidueye is also there. Bro doesn't have a dark type. Gren doesn't count. I mean, offensively it does. I can tell you for sure that offensively, Gurren does count as a dark type offensively. Offensively. I'm saying it one more time. Hey KJ. Hope you're doing well. This team, it's going to probably be very hit or miss. I think that if you aren't able to live the hits, its hyper offense route is not the strongest. But there's definitely a chance that J-Reki could make this work. And make it work, I'm sure he will. Next up, we have got some scrub that goes by Kahlua Boom. I think that's right. I don't know. He's kind of irrelevant. But he picked up the mascot Goldengo. I gotta respect that. It's actually a pretty good team. I'm here shit talking. It's kind of looking quite fun. Urshifu Rapid Strike, Ecuadorian Envy. Yep, definitely. I can see it. I've seen what Danny looks like. He honestly could be Envy's brother. The regular Ogopon can hold items, so I'm interested to see what he can do with that. Glamora is always great. Jolteon, we stand Jolteon in this household. We especially stand it when it is a Terra Captain. However, these types, the fire type has got to go, and it will go. I've already convinced Danny that it's got to go. Azumarill has been like a staple pick for him. Very solid mon. Iron Jugulus is it's good, but it's no Galarian Moltres. Fire Jolteon certainly is a choice. Tinglu was picked up by Luxance, by the way. If I can... that team. Azelf is really, really good. I think Azelf is something that's gotten a lot better this gen with the mystical power. It can be a really potent choice Scarfer. It can be a really good just specs user as well, spamming a move that can potentially raise your special attack. Terry Tatsugiri, Addison would have some words about that, but it is pretty decent. As a low tier Rapid Spinner and Terra user, it can definitely do a good amount of things for this team. Toadscrawl, great for basically everything utility wise, and then Oink alone is budget greedent. I don't think that there's any truer words I can say about it. Mystical Fire is good until you miss it 3 times in a row. That's impressive for a 100% accurate move. Azelf was the worst of the 3 Lakemons. I mean, it's a hot take, but I think in previous gens it was closer. I think this gen maybe is better, but at the same time, I do like Mesprit and I do like Uxie, so I think it's personal preference. Q is saying shut up. I will not let him live that one down. It's a skill issue. It truly is. But moving on, we didn't really talk about that team, but we have the yet again. I know that Mystical Fire is 100% accurate. Mystical Power is not. I don't know how we've managed to get round into this. There we go. Thanks, Lux. Thanks for calling her a silly goose as well. That's very much appreciated. We have the Gliscor team for the Gliscor. I mean, it's Gliscorers. It's not Gliscors. Come on. CB, once again. Shocking. Honestly, I don't know why I let him in the league. But, yeah, Gliscor with Annihilate. They're Annihilate, yep, that's definitely... You know what? They're both monkeys. They're interchangeable. Infinite. Wellspring Ogopon, which is honestly a massive threat. Really fun one. Sizzle, the Sand Core of Tyranitar Houndstone. Terra Espeon. Terra Espeon could go pretty crazy. I have been dealt much damage by a Terra Espeon. Dragalge and Inteleon are both pretty solid mid-tier picks. Terra Ampharos, you know what? As Eli says, that is in fact Fabio at home. Then you got Hariyama and there's a Persian. Persian exists, and I believe that actually sniped J-Reki. Of all the mons that I expected to get sniped during this season, Persian was not on that list. I'm gonna be honest. There seems to be quite a debate going on about Azelf. What exactly have you started here, Ellie? Sandvale is not allowed, no. So, I mean, that would be very annoying to face. It also probably makes Gliscor worse, but I mean, that's depends on whether or not it actually hits or not. Tyranitar is on his team, so immediately it moves up into like the top 2. There was no Greedent on the draft, which is firstly very disappointing. But like Tyranitar draft has to go right up there. But I do like this team as a whole. I think the Houndstone with Poltergeist addition this with the DLC definitely makes it a bit more of a threat. Espeon as a Terra Captain, I think is probably one of like top 5. And then, I mean, the round 1 Gliscor is certainly a pick, but I think people were sleeping a little bit on Gliscor. It is still very, very good at what it does. And like Ellie says, Terra Ampharos looks like it's going to be really fun. Gliscor being... I definitely did not ban Greedent. Lux is spreading slander, misinformation. I can't believe you would do such a thing, except for I can. But that's going to wrap up all of the PPL Bolt drafts. What is your favourite team? I think it's difficult to remember all the teams, especially as I'm going through them. But there was definitely some fun teams. I'm having a quick glance over to see what I would say my favourite team was. I think I would have to go with Frosted's. Frosted's team just looks really well rounded. Outside of the Mischievous, like it's kind of just there, but you know, it's Fluttermane at home. Dave's is Ellie's favourite. We'll have a quick look at Dave's. It is a good team. Hugh hates every team. That's fine because every team hates him. We got some. I really like Matt's team. Again, I'm surprised that Ellie didn't go with this one because it has a quack on it, and Ellie loves her quack, which could be taken as she loves a crack, but you know, I'm not judging. Dave was cooking for sure. He really was. I would say Lux's favourite is definitely not Lux's. The Bax team, I can show you that one again, yes. That was the first one. And it's a very fun team. Quack is the best mon in Draft League. I think with Terra, you might be onto something. I did not read Culinary on that. I will let your imaginations go off of that one as to what I actually read it as. And I missed this team. They took advantage of your first pick for sure. Baxcalibur is a really, really good mon, and I think we're going to see whether or not it's actually should have been in that top tier or not. Just for reference, the 4 mons in the highest point tier is Chiyu, Garchomp, Great Tusk, and Landorus Incarnate. So Baxcalibur, Greninja, Iron Bundle, Roaring Moon, Sneasler, Tornadus Therian, and Urshifu Rapid Strike did not make it into the top tier. All according to plan, Dave. You are an evil genius. Minus maybe the genius. But at the same time, you're the smartest man in your division. I don't even know I can say that. You're the smartest man between you and Alex on your commentary team? Yeah, we'll go with that, I think. Who needs a Garchomp when you have a Gabite? I think I'd rather have the Garchomp, I'm not going to lie. I don't believe the Gabite gets Scale Shot. Somebody can correct me if that's the case. You'll take that? I bet you will. Let's go on to the Flare draft, shall we? Enough of the Bolt shenanigans. It does get Scale Shot. Okay, well, never mind. He's cooking. Absolutely cracked. And first pick of the Flare division was another Dragon type. Again, not from the top tier. It was Roaring Moon. Partnered with the full Sinnoh starter core in Infernape, Empoleon, and Torterra. Again, there's a Cress. There is a Cress on this team. So, you know, how good can this team actually be? I'm pretty sure the Vikavolt is not Terra normal. I'm pretty sure that is going to be Taurus's Terra types. But it is what it is. Torterra was not allowed to Terra in this league, despite its name. because it will be broken with Terra. I'm pretty sure. I've already been cooked with it once. So, but the rest of this team looks fun. You got the Roaring Moon with the 2 or the 3 Sinnoh starters. You got a Galarian Zapdos. You got a Glamora. Moltres is very good. Pikachu exists, and yep. I don't think I can actually say anything about Pikachu. Vikavolt is a good sticky weather. I did in fact lose to it, so therefore it should be banned. That goes for quite a few mons. They only had a pool of like 6 mons to choose from, because I have lost to everything. KJ wanted GZAP. Well, you should have drafted it before round 4, because why is that one making it to round 4? You know what? We've been playing Digimon. I'm down. We could go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe, or Beyblade. Should we just go Beyblade? I think we go Beyblade. You know what? Dave's onto something. But yeah, this team looks like a lot of fun. The Sinnoh starters all got pretty major buffs, albeit Empoleon also lost Defog, and I believe it lost Scald as well, which kind of sucks. But this team, it goes pretty hard. The Terra Tauros, I think, is one of the best, if not the best, Terra captain that was on the board. And yeah, the rest of the team looks like a good time. Don't forget to like the stream, guys. Honestly, why would you like this stream? It's one of the streams of all time. Moving on, Tone picked up Manaphy with round 2 Annihilate. Gotta respect it. There's a Tinglu. Where's my Tinglu enjoyers? Then there's the Ogerpon, which apparently is much bigger in this slide than it was in the previous one. The Kilowattrel, Gardevoir, Dragalge, another Terra Pyro enjoyer. Gotta respect it. No Terra Swanna. This draft has a Swanna on it, therefore it wins. So true. Terra Luxray, but not Terra Normal Luxray, is a questionable decision. Terra Fire Pyro makes you sad. Alex, you are wrong. You are very much wrong. Terra Fire goes incredibly hard. Swanna, forgot Swanna was a Pokemon. You know what? I don't blame you. I honestly don't. Annihilate, Cleaver, and Pyro. He's copied your homework, but made it a little different. He effectively just picked up Tinglu instead of Samurott and decided he's going to have different ways of putting up the hazards. And yeah, this team looks so fun, actually. This does look like a fun team. It's Tone as well, so Tone will go probably, I would say, unbeaten. He's one of the better coaches. I'm sorry for anybody who plays him in this division, because you're just going to lose to Swanna. Like, it's going to be Swanna as well. Terra Pyro is out here just yelling, but you know, this is a female Pyro. It's more elegant. It's more of a classy lady. It doesn't go yelling. It goes firing. It's spitting fire. I'm gonna move on. Moving on to Dell, who forgot that he had to have Terramons. Sorry for calling you out. I also saw Lux's homework and was like, "Yo, let me get in on that." Instead of the 3, was it 3 regen mons that Lux had? No, it wasn't. He couldn't pick up the Tinglu, so he picked up a Crook instead. He did pick up the Torn and the Rotom. He had the Lux really like Slowking, so he picked up a Galarian Slowking. And the Clefable is making me feel sick a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. The rest of the team goes pretty crazy. There is a Glalie. Terra Glalie has me curious. The curiosity probably ends at the point in which I said he forgot he had to draft a Terramon, and so therefore we picked up Glalie and barely spent any of his Terra budget. So Tatsugiri we've gone over as a low tier spinner, could be worse. Terra Glalie action, I don't know if we're going to see any Terra Glalie action, but I could be wrong. You never know. Dell might bring that on week 1. But Revavroom unfortunately couldn't Terra. I think maybe it was like on the borderline. But Grass Mythicals as well, yep. Like literally, I don't know if Lux and Dell were plotting during the prep, but they definitely have very similar teams. And if you like Lux's team, then you'll like this team. Moving on to Cherry. And Cherry saw Bill picking up a Hamper Bomb and was like, yep, let me get some of that. There's also a Diglett, so Ellie is immediately interested. We have got a very like bird-oriented team, I would say. I would like to know how many birds are on this team, according to Dave, but this again has very good defog options. Not necessarily the best hazard setters. Orthworm is kind of just... It's good, but if it's a Terramon, do you want it to Terra just to set up hazards? I mean, that's up to you, obviously. Rotom Heat is a little bit worse this gen, if you ask me. But where are your wall breakers? I mean, there's a Great Tusk, there's a Monkey Dory, there's a Diglett. It has to be at least 5. I mean, Milotic's that's got to be a bird, right? I mean, without a doubt, I would say that Milotic is a bird. Diglett has something of a beak, so I could see Diglett being a bird. Yeah, I agree with Alex. Monkey Dory clicks special attack button, and something takes damage, or it clicks U-turn and frisks you. And gets a real good feel of what you're packing. Milotic, Mandibuzz, Noivern, and Rotom. Yep, I can see it. There's also some pretty decent setup options in Rotom. I said that and I was like, okay, well actually, you know what? There's only kind of like Nasty Plot Rotom. There's, I guess, Calm Mind on the Florges. There's Nasty Plot on Monkey Dory. Bulk Up, Great Tusk. Dragon Dance, Milotic, if you're feeling particularly fruity. But it's a decent team. I'm not entirely sure if I like this team over some of the other ones they've seen. But moving on, we've got Trexo. And Trexo actually took over this team. I don't remember if he drafted this team. As it is, I believe they might have done. I know he's made trades since. But this team... This team goes pretty crazy. There is a bundle. Bundle, Garchomp, always pretty good. There's an Iron Hands. You've won me over immediately. Corviknight, Galarian Weezing, King Gambit. Very, very solid defensive core. Serena and Water Tauros. 2 very underrated mons. Both were on my BBR draft that I had last season. Both were kind of underrated goats on that team. Terra Delphox. Honestly, like Ellie says, could have been Terra banned. And then there is the Grumpig, who is just kind of vibing. I find the irony of Grumpig being being a fire type quite amusing. It's literally cooking itself. Not only is Trexo bringing a decent team, he's also offering a hog roast. So that's very respectable of him. If he had an Applin as well for the apple sauce, this team is looking real tasty. Not gonna lie. He does have... you could call it maybe a chicken in Iron Bundle. Apparently, Lux is making a claim that there is a 5th bird on that previous team. I'm waiting for the updates, as I'm sure you are as well. We will wait eagerly on whether or not there was a 5th bird on that last team. But I was going to say, Bundle making it as far as it did is actually nuts. Genuinely crazy. Iron Hands making it as far as it did, in my opinion, is pretty crazy as well. King Gambit, what was that, round 7? Round 7 King Gambit? We said crazy enough. This team is really strong. I actually really like it. Next up, we've got Rose. With the Max Urshifu Rapid Strike. This team has so many good potential Terra Captain options. Like, I feel like you could have picked one of, like, any of those last 4. Maybe even Bramblegast. Maybe even Muck. Like, they were all such good Terra options. I think you did go for the right one in Lycanroc. Would have loved to have seen Electros be Terra. But it is what it is. You can't have it all. Somebody did, in fact, draft Bramblegast. And it was at, what, round 6? Is that a round 6 Bramblegast? You gotta respect it. You gotta show some... Gotta put some respect on Rose's name for that. Who Set Sands for Lycanroc? I guess you don't need to. as much as like it'd be quite nice to have the sand, I don't think you necessarily need it with Lycanroc. Baxcalibur with the Slowking. Again, you've got that Snow Core that's gonna go pretty crazy. And then Ursaluna, I'm a big fan of. Grimmsnarl screens. So you've got like 2 mons that make up for Alolan Ninetales, but also do other things that Alolan Ninetales can't do. So this team is really good. I do like this team. Talonflame is a good defogger. Bramblegas is a spinner. Scyther is a secondary defogger as well. There's some things here that definitely could remove hazards. In terms of setting them up, got not a great deal, but at the same time, I don't think hazard stacking is necessarily what a team's going to be looking to do. I think it's going to be screens, pivot into Slowking, pivot into backs, click buttons, or go into Urshifu, click buttons. So, really fun looking team from Rose. Next up we got Daria with, once again, we are back with the mascot picks. Meowscarada with the Treads, the Zapdos, the Terra Galastria as well. I think Galastria is going to be a real demon with the Terra. Sylveon, Dondozo, like that's a, I mean, the Dondozo, Hisuian Gudra, Chansey defensive core. I wouldn't want to face that. That sounds gross. That genuinely sounds so difficult to break. Mesprit is really good kind of utility mon. You got a load of muck. Thought someone was coming in. And then there's a Mischievous and a Volbeat that are just kind of chilling. Zapdos, Chansey's bad enough. This is a very fat team with good hazard setter in Meowscarada and a good hazard setter in Iron Treads. I mean, there is still a Terra Volbeat that just kind of is there. I'm not entirely sure about it. Okay, so there has, I can now confirm live on stream. Breaking news: there is a 5th bird. I don't know what it was. I've been left in suspense. But apparently there was a 5th bird on that team. If you're just joining the stream now, you have no idea what's going on. Honestly, I don't blame you. I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, well, thoughts on Daria's team. I think this is one of the best balanced teams. It's much more towards the bulky side. But even things like Sylveon and Zapdos, Hisuian Gudra can be run offensively and still put in work. So yeah, this is a real difficult team to be able to break past. I don't think the Volbeat has actually got Terra Blast. Terra Blast it's definitely got Terra Blast. I don't think it's got Tail Glow this gen. I will allow someone to correct me on that. I'm gonna take a drink. I've gone for like an hour without a drink. Remember to hydrate, kids. And yes, you are all kids in the chat. Definitely not people older than me in the chat at all. Yeah, moving on. We have Helios, who took over this team from Burning after week 1. So Burning did actually play week 1, and then he sadly had to drop. Helios took over the team, so we couldn't be bothered to change the the graphics to go back to Burning. But shout out to Burning for playing week 1. This again, really fun team, same kind of offensive core as Alex, with the Unburden and grassy terrain. You got the Spike Setter, you got the, the Enamorous that I will withhold my opinion on. But then Lycanroc Dusker is really good. There's Terra, or a better typed Terra Jolteon. It still gets Tail Glow. Excellent. Okay, that mon is a threat. The PLA core goes crazy. It really does. It really does. There's a Palisand. Indeed, Palisand is a low tier goat, along with Ursaring. Crocalor? Crocalor is actually just super underrated. I don't think there's a bad mon on this draft, honestly. Every mon looks like it can do something here. And it's very physically biased, I will say that much. But at the same time, when you got Enamorous to click Specs Moonblast, it doesn't matter too much. You got Jolteon to click Specs, whatever. It's going to be fine. But one of the better defoggers in Sizzle. You kind of don't need anything else. I think Sizzle's probably fine. And you got plenty of hazards, so it's that kind of Joey mindset of out hazard your opponent, just play fast, and this team really does kind of picture that well. Like, you got U-turn Sneasler, U-turn on Rillaboom, U-turn on Sizzle, Volt Switch on Jolteon. There's a lot of things that are just going to go ahead and pivot on the entire team, rack up that spike damage, and just go from there. Crocodile, it does in fact wall half a team. That was me, I think. I remember I was able to wall a team with Palafin, Annihilate, Iron Moth, with just like Crocodile and Jumpluff. That one's going back a bit. That is going back a little while. That's like early this gen. But anyway, moving on. I love that team. Picasso. We have got Sun, this time with a Leavanny. I respect the Leavanny pick. You got Charizard, who I think could have Terra'd. I don't remember if I banned it. Let me just have a quick look. I did not ban it as a Terra option. I'm surprised that this isn't their Terra, but then, you know, Terra Diancie does make kind of sense, because that is also very good. This is another team where I don't necessarily see a bad mon on it. It's very much all in on Sun, I will say, because even like, I guess it's not that bad, but you got the Walking Wake with the Torkoal, you got the Leavanny, the Charizard that really want the Sun, you got the Hisuian Lilligant. They draft all the Paradox mons. So true. They just they saw Sun and were like, yes, I will go all in on getting boosts. Weavile and Copperaja are like the only two I don't think that really get any benefit from the Sun, as well as Diancie. So I think the reliance on Torkoal might be a bit much on this team, but at the same time, who cares? You probably can just set up the Sun, click buttons with Wake, with Hisuian Lilligant, with Iron Moth, and just not care. This song is considerably louder. It did give me a little bit of a jump scare. This team is... honestly, I think if it wins big. If it loses big. It'd be what I'd say. But who knows? It could surprise me. Moving on. KG. Shout out to KG. Not KJ. No, sir. It's KG. 2294. In fact, there's 2,294 kilograms to this man. He is an absolute unit. And he has picked up a pretty fire team. Frostmoth, I keep saying this, but I think Frostmoth was one of the better Terra captains. A few people said it should be banned. I would disagree, but I think it is very much on the borderline. Which is maybe why Revavroom should have been allowed, because I think Revavroom and Frostmoth roughly about the same in terms of Terra. This team, again, looks like a really fun team. Terra Go-Go, there's a Poliwrath. I don't know, there's more grass than fire on this team. I mean, sure, technically, yes, that's correct. I'm not gonna hold you against that. I like this team a lot. Mamo is... we've gone over a lot of these mons before. The Hatterene, I think, is something we haven't seen before. That is a mon that I know Lux likes. Again, his reasoning for it will remain undisclosed. We've got the Bellibolt. He looks so happy in that picture. Who doesn't love Bellibolt? In terms of other Pokemon that work as a cushion, because we've got to discuss that when we see Bellibolt, Poliwrath looks actually pretty good. Outside the fact that he might get hypnotized by it on the whilst you're having a nap. I would have thought the Mamoswine as well would be quite nice to have a nap on. I said your team was shit, Will. Absolutely terrible. Should have drafted an entirely different team. I didn't actually. Hatterene is the team, is the mon that I said that you liked, Lux. But I was saying that Mamoswine, it's like a Tauntaun. I could see you cutting open a Mamo and making a really good like bed out of that. Trailblaze Mamo stonks. So true. This is an unspeakably offensive trio in Ogerpon, Mamoswine, and Staraptor. Yeah, it certainly hits hard. No, the physical side is a big ow. I mean, the Goldengo also hits very hard on the special side. So it's an interesting team. I'm not sure what the Poliwrath is kind of here for, but I respect it. I like Poliwrath. It's a good mon. Frostmoth would be a good pillow. Yeah, I'm just not sure about the size of it. Like, it depends on whether or not it's big enough to, like, actually get your head. I got a big head. I need a big pillow. So I'm not sure if Frostmoth will cut it. Outside of that, quite enjoy the team. Probably not my favourite team in this draft, but Goldoa picks up Aurora Veil with Mew and Komodo, as well as having 5 confirmed. So true. Hail, or sorry, Snow. My bad. Snow for the Beartic. And also, on probably my favourite Terra pickup, the Shiftry. Shiftry got some nice stuff this gen, and I was very happy to see it actually get given Terra. I'm not sure about the typings, but I don't know what typings you would give to a Shiftry, honestly. Maybe Fairy or something like that. But Shiftry this gen is dangerous. It's so true. There is like a bunch of... there's no bad mon again on this draft. Outside maybe Noctowl. Because, I don't know, it's a Noctowl. I can't take Noctowl seriously. Komodo with the Aurora Veil, Clangorous Soul. That doesn't seem like a fun time for anyone. And it's just a very well-balanced team outside of that. Things like Mew, Heatran, Vaporeon, Donphan give you a good defensive core. You got potential offense in Mew as well. Komodo, Thundy, Gengar, even the Beartic. Beartic with the defense boost kind of goes crazy. It can definitely put in work. How absolutely dare I? Very easily, Dave. It's a Noctowl. But yeah, it's a pretty good team. Maybe a lack of physical offense could hurt him during the season. Drought? Yep. I'm creating words out here. Because Mew and Komodo, I mean, Komodo is more physically biased generally, unless you're running like Clangorous Soul Throat Spray. But it's kind of like almost pushing your Mew and Komodo to have to run physical just because you're lacking a few physical threats on this team. But the Shiftry brings it back around to like a pretty good amount of points. In my estimations, this team is pretty good. So, going on to CB Marcus, who randomized his last picks. I don't know if he randomized the whole draft. If he did, then his draft has worked out pretty well. Chi-Yu with its best counters in Quaquaval and Azumarill. He was like, you know what? I don't want anyone trying to check my Chi-Yu. I'm going to just take everything that can wall it, including Appleton as well. Lando, good mon. We've already said Hisuian Electrode is a very threatening Terra Captain. Azelf, Ogerpon, very, very good. Great utility in Fortress. Quillfish gets Flip Turn now. It could be a Spike and Flip Turner. Then the last two, Altaria, I actually quite like. I do like Altaria. I think Willow was a nice buff for it. Maybe with the Terra, it could have been better. Girafarig, I tried to use it. Maybe I'm bad. In fact, I am bad. But I could not get it to work. I tried to give it a chance. It's still kind of just terrible, even with EVLite. Chi-Yu, Hisuian Electrode, Quack. Everyone's just copying everyone's homework. That's literally all this is. This is just copy the homework, the draft. And we are reaching the end. So there won't be much more copying that can be done. But this team looks like it's pretty solid. Not a whole lot to say about it. Good pivots. Good setup. He, him, Electrode. Indeed. Could be she, her. We don't assume in this household. But DD with dual wing beat. True. Does it still get dual wing beat this gen? Who knows? It's an Altaria. Nobody paid attention. Moving on. We have got apparently no terrors at all for Razor. His terrors, I believe, were Rabska and Drifblim. So just use your imagination on that one. And yes, that is a round 3 Politoed. Can you just confirm, Razor, that your terrors were Rabska and Drifblim? This team, it looks like really, this is a Razor team. I'm just going to say it. This is a Razor team. On paper, you look at it and you're like, I'm not seeing it. But then when it actually comes to playing a game, Razor has built the most absurd team that will absolutely destroy your ass. So I'm fully expecting this to happen with Razor this season. 2 spiky lads, indeed. 2 spiky lads. Some very nice cushioned lads as well. Snorlax. I mean, Chestnut works as both spiky and, to an extent, does look pretty soft as well. And of course, Politoed. Who wouldn't love a nice squidgy Politoed? Chestnut does have spikes. There is, I mean, would you count Pheasantipity as having spikes? Would you count Iron Jugulus as having spikes? I mean, technically they got spiky-like objects on them. I mean, I'm not the authority on these sort of things. You would not. Okay, well, I will retract my statements. I do apologize. But yeah, this team looks like it's going to be very difficult to break. I'll say that much. And I do like the Terra Captains, Drifter and Ravska. I want somebody to try and make Ravska work. And I have yet to be able to do it myself. So hopefully somebody else, namely Razor, can make it work here. The round 3 Politoed really does sell me. I'm thinking of an open mind and applying a scientific method to your reasoning, which I respect. Thank you. All I look for in life is Dave's respect. So I've earned my thing. Yep. Now we got a proper rain team. After we had the Politoed with no other rain mons, as far as I'm aware, we have just all out fucking fuck it, we ball, we rain. With Rick, Lan Rick, big Lan Rick. I do appreciate when Rick is using a land timer, albeit nobody's told him that, you know, that we don't need it for this generation. He has got all the homies hated lands, so fucking true. The comp method has been just a game changer for so many reasons. Lan was just a ball ache 90% of the time. But yeah, this is rain.jpg. I don't really know what else to say about it. Apparently it has a Terra Fighting on the Thunderous. News to me. That seems kind of ban-worthy, but at the same time it's only one type, so maybe we can allow it to pass. Clefairy is the best low-tier fairy. Honestly, one of the best low tiers in general. Very good mon. Golduck with the Terra. Finally a psychic type. So true. A Quillfish, trying to be a Quillfish, is also a water type. Dual stabs on that. This is what I was trying to cook with Pelipper Quillfish in my PPL season, okay? Terra Psyduck. Yeah, actually, yes, he should drop Golduck for Psyduck. I'm fully behind this movement, Stevo. Very much so. Barraskewda, I think, is going to be a bit of a demon, a little bit overrated, underrated even this gen, because it lost Flip Turn, which then came back. Has been somewhat outclassed by Floatzel, and that's saying... actually, no, I respect Floatzel. Floatzel's a good one. Clodsire, as a defensive backbone for this team, Water Absorb is going to be very, very nice. A lot of birds, a lot of fish, indeed. Ogerpon on this team looks kind of nice. The Ivy Cudgels will be cudgeling real hard. And Jirachi just appreciates everything that's around it. The Hurricanes from Specs Dragonite are going to hit different. Weatherball, Thunderous. It's a rain team. It's a rain team. And I don't think I've seen a rain team succeed since Dr. Slacking did in GDL last gen. So, you know, maybe this is the season we see Rain win another championship. But that is all the teams. My voice hurts. I'm tired. Ruben, who is currently staying in my office, is having to sleep downstairs on the sofa at the moment. So I'm sure that he probably wants to actually be able to come back upstairs and have the room to himself, albeit it's now 1,000 degrees in here. KG has the best team. So true. Or Lanric. Either way, they're both cracked teams with cracked coach names. But what is your favorite draft from the Flare drafts? It's gonna be tough. I think like Tones was pretty good. I did enjoy Tones. I did enjoy Cahoots's. In terms of just all-round balance, then Devils is pretty good. I don't know, I'm just having a quick little glance through, and once again, I think the Iron Bundle team is the best team. I will go with Trexo. He has the bacon as well. He is literally bringing home the bacon. I'm triggered from the time I worked on a burger van for like £2 an hour, and I worked a 12-hour day. Got paid 20 quid. Trexo's squad is wild. I mean, this team looks like it could probably carry Trexo quite far. Not saying that Trexo's bad by any means, but no, it's Trexo. Come on now. So the key to having the best team is having a bundle. It's having a bundle with brilliant supporting pieces. Bundle is a BBR champion. So now the draft is covered. Will there be an announcement? And when should I make the hype vid live? Anything can go live after this. So the draft analysis for all the, draft anals for all our coaches will be going up either tonight or tomorrow. And then week 1 will actually be starting on Monday. So we're going straight into the action. There is no hesitation. We don't fuck around here. We go straight into things and we don't even announce it. Maybe that was a bad decision because we've only got 17 people watching, but yes, you have a pre-draft vid. I will look forward to seeing that. Everybody go make sure to check out all the coaches for this season. Draft anals tomorrow. There should be some tonight as well. I think some people did plan them for tonight, so keep your eye out. There's going to be plenty of coach content to come, and of course on week 1 Monday, I hope to see you all there. I'll be checking out as many of these videos as I can. I'm excited to see. Oh Christ, I'm too excited. It's too much. Killed me. Too much. I'm excited to see the old coaches back. Dave once again back on the PPL grind. Next thing you know, our Lord and Saviour, the true commissioner of the PPL, Lee Don Fanatic, will be back. You know, you never know. It could happen. We managed to get some of the old guard back. We're just lacking that one final piece. But anyway, I'm going to go. I'm going to get to bed because it's been a long ass day. I've been working since this morning effectively. I hope you guys all enjoyed the stream. I'm sorry it was a bit kind of random, a bit sporadic. It's also very much me tired. Very much me still dealing with my work shift that was shit. But yeah, I also enjoyed my dirty fries for anyone who is keeping track of it. I did eat it all, and sorry I did not bring any for you, I lied. Get fucked. I should end the stream on that. That would be a great way to end it. But anyway, I'll see all you guys in the comment sections of the coach draft analysis and week 1 battles. And with that, I'm going to go ahead, get out of here. Until next one, have a great day, guys. Peace. Meant to have stopped